Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of Relationship Ready the Way to Love Me. I am your host, the one and only, the Lion King. Yeah, yeah. And we got the beautiful Miss Monique on the online. What's going on, sweet pea? Miss, better known as Miss Nikki. That's what we call her, Miss
Hey,
Nikki.
baby.
How you doing tonight?
I'm cool, chilling.
You cool? You ready to get into tonight's show?
I am. I
You,
am. I've been gone a minute.
you got something to read for me tonight?
I do not. Everything that I have written is dark and dingy and ghoulish and
I see. I gotta pray for you right now, my Father,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
name
You're
of
gonna have
Jesus.
to.
In the mighty, matchless name of Jesus, help this nigga. Help this nigga get a life
Look, I
together.
I have to have my moves in order to write versatile stuff. I
But
can't
you
write love
see,
all the
but
time.
see, you either supposed to write something or find something for us to. You didn't even find nothing, baby. But
I
it's okay.
didn't, but I'm
It's,
I'm
it's,
working on something.
uh,
It's taking up a whole lot of time. A
mhm,
whole lot of time.
mhm. Yeah, nigga. Well, how you doing though? How's the young child doing?
The young child. You must forget I got two young kids.
Yeah. Well, how the young
Mhm.
children's doing?
So one of them is happy because they got a new phone today,
Mm.
and the other one
Terrorizing.
almost got killed because he missed the school bus yesterday.
He playing around with school.
No, he missed the school bus. Talking about I was fixing something to eat and didn't pay attention to the time. The stove is on the clock. What you mean?
Oh my God. Well, you ready to get into this relationship conversation? Now, let me go ahead and mute my phone because I don't want to hear nobody call me or nothing like that. I don't know why when we go live, somebody always calls my phone. But
So, nah.
yeah, I gotta wake on up, man. I gotta wake on up. We got to get into this conversation. You know what we're talking about tonight. What we talk about every week. We talk about love. We talk about relationships. But we most importantly talk about the relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship that's going on with you. I see my girl Miss Walker is out there. How you doing, baby girl? Say hello to me. Everybody say hello. Don't be no fools tonight. Don't act no fool. Don't make me treat y'all. Somebody look, this is the funniest thing that happened today. Somebody dared me to treat their ass today and they got it. They
What?
said they dared me. I was like, they don't know who they fucking with. Like you,
Mm,
you
mm, mm.
daring me to be an asshole. And I said, let me stop. Let me stop. Now let me tell y'all about my week, y'all. They, I'm trying to stop cussing. I didn't recognize how hard to stop cussing was. That is a tough one. What's going on, Miss Chris? I want to say your name right, Miss Christina. Yeah, Miss Christina Ann. I want to say what's up to you. Say hello back to me, baby girl. Don't do me like that. So, you know, I've had just an interesting week. I'm trying to quit smoking cigarettes. Now, y'all might see me smoke tonight. I told y'all if y'all watch my live stream this morning, don't be fucking hollering at me if you see me with a square, because I'm trying to get the shit up, but it ain't that goddamn easy. You
Okay, so
understand
you
what
should be doing one at a time.
I'm
Right?
trying to?
Well, you just said you're gonna stop cussing and stop smoking. Now I'm
Yeah.
just not seeing how that's supposed to
Well,
work
see
out.
this. Look, let me tell
'Cause
you
I do both too.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have a peaceful life, and I'm trying to be peaceful. So in the process of trying to be peaceful, I'm trying to reduce things that will cause me stress. So I know how I've tried to kick smoking before, right? And
Mhm.
I already know what that process is. I already go through a little, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, since I know that that's going to be the process, and I know I'm trying to get my life right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that shit. But if y'all see me smoking tonight, because let me tell you something. I already got this rolled up. This is not a cigarette. I'm letting you know that in Jesus' name right now. This is not a cigarette. I'm going to keep blowing these. I don't care what you feel about it. That's between you and your God. But let me tell y'all
Y'all
tonight.
gonna see me smoke.
Let me tell y'all what we're talking about tonight, man. We're talking about loving yourself, right? And getting to the point where you can love yourself. So I usually get the critique that I'm only speaking to women. I usually get that critique, right? Tonight, I'm gonna try to mix it up and I'm gonna speak to the men and the women. So if you're watching this show, the biggest favor that you can do for me, especially if you know me personally, is to share the show on your own. Now, y'all know I'm gonna tag the fuck out y'all in a minute. Y'all know it's gonna be 100 motherfuckers in the tag. But if you love me yourself, if you got any type of love for your boy, you got any type of love for what your boy's doing, go ahead and share this show and let a brother know that he's appreciated tonight. All right. So you ready to get into this first piece? You want to hear this first little piece, young lady?
I do, but I do have one I could read. I just thought about it.
You got a poem you can read for us
I
tonight?
do.
You gonna start us? Is it something good or is it something bad?
It
Is
depends
it
on how you
something?
want
Is
to
it
look at
something
it.
up? No, you wrote it, so you know what it is. So
Oh,
is it is
it's a good right.
okay? Come
It's
on.
definitely a good right.
Y'all right now, if y'all with us right now, y'all just saw. I don't know if y'all saw me, but I just grabbed the wine, the last of the wine. I'm about to sip
Listen,
this in honor of this girl while she's looking this shit up. And
see,
if
it's on
it's
my phone. I'm almost
and
there.
I want y'all, if y'all like the poem, y'all give us some love. And we're gonna keep it real on here tonight. And because I'm telling y'all, if y'all say something crazy to her, she has skin enough. Well, she will cuss you out on her own. And I've been telling y'all, I'm trying not to cuss folks out on Thursday nights. You catch me on Tuesday, you catch a whole different Russ. You
Hmm.
catch a whole different line in the place. But this is a tame line. This is the Lion King. This is Mustafa and Simba mixed into one. And we trying to be good. You ready, baby girl? To
I
kick
am
off the
ready.
poem? Come on.
I'm ready. He fucked me.
Oh shit. Wait a minute. Wait a
This
minute.
ain't that.
Wait a minute. I wasn't ready.
This ain't that.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah, that's what we're going. Yeah, everybody that heard that first line, this is a great poem. Okay, come on, let's go. I
He
think it
fucked
is.
me. Fucked me so good I didn't sleep for 2 days. Zombified, feeling nothing but still everything. Brain couldn't compute, ain't know what to think, but the numbness didn't stop the squeeze in my chest.
God damn.
He fucked me. Fucked me so well when my eyes finally closed, I slumbered for a day and a half. Awoke to the darkness of a quiet room, empty bed, and no appetite. Chain smoking, emptying full bottles of wine. He fucked me. Fucked me mercilessly and smiled in my face, then laughed at the punchline like a comedian. While I missed the joke but caught the shade, sat there confused but with clarity. Yeah, he fucked me, and in more ways than one. I ain't been fucked that hard in a long ass time.
Okay, that's an interesting poem to kick the show off with tonight. this,
Mm-hmm.
well, goddamn, who fucked you like that, girl?
An asshole.
That's a damn shame.
A whole asshole. I'll tell you
That's
the
a
story,
damn
but not
shame.
on
Wait a minute,
here.
wait a minute. Time out. That's a damn shame to get a whole "he fucked me" poem, and you say it's an asshole that you wrote it
That's
for.
that's the whole point, and that's exactly why I started just like that.
Mm,
Because after
mm,
shit went down, all I
mm.
could think was he fucked me.
And
He
that's supposed
fucked
to be
me
relationship.
royally. You when
Well,
I
you know what?
tell
I
you
just
what
thought about it.
happened, you gonna know why I say that.
Well, I just thought about it. It makes sense because tonight's show is called Relationship Ready, and we talking about fixing ourselves. So if you've been fucked, I guess that
Oh,
was a
well, before we get into that, let me tell you, because this fits right into self love.
okay.
Part of that conversation was that he thought he was gonna laugh in my face and tell me he was interested in somebody else, and that I was gonna sit there and keep on playing with him. And my response to that was, "She can have you."
Mm,
And he said, "What?" And I said, "Dilemma solved. She can have you. I am not an option, and I will
that's
not
so
do
sweet.
competition. So if that's where you want to go, you go right on over there with her. But
So
ain't
you
no
mean
spinning the block."
so brother told you just flat out.
No, it's a long story that go with it. That was
Okay,
just
listen, I was ready to start the show off with something
mhm.
else, but you just started this off with
That's
something
just
else.
the
Like, wait,
punchline.
whoa, slow down, slow down. So those of you that just joined the show, she just read this poem that she wrote called what's it called? He fucked me.
He fucked me.
Okay. And initially, when I heard it, I gave y'all heard all that. Now I'm hearing. So, okay, break this down. I want to know. You got to run through the whole scenario. How did you meet the guy?
I'm not
When?
gonna do all that on live. What I
No, no,
will
no. You
do,
ain't got to give no. You ain't got to give specifics into like his name. But I'm saying like, give us a brief. How did you meet him? How did you get to that point of the poem? And then like, how did it like dissolve? Like, come on, talk to me.
we met online. We've
Okay.
met in person. He came up here. He lives in Atlanta.
He traveled.
He
Okay.
traveled.
Yeah, he traveled his ass off. He traveled.
Hmm.
Okay.
And There were plans for me to come out there, and there were plans for me to do other stuff. So I'm looking to move. I've been looking into moving out of state since about June or July. I got offered the position. The only thing I need is to find a place. So part of me going down there was to be looking at apartments so I can figure out where I'm going to be at.
Right.
I bought my tickets, was planning on coming down there. He was supposed to be picking me up from the airport. This is all stuff that we discussed. We supposed to be going out. So he's taking me to go see these places. And we supposed to be kicking it. And a week before I'm supposed to come down there, he tells me this shit. After a whole long ass 4-5 days of some other BS on his end that don't got nothing to do with me.
Okay.
And that's why I say he fucked me, because I spent money on tickets. I took PTO. I had babysitters set up, all kind of shit. I had appointments scheduled to go view apartments. I was supposed to be meeting the office manager for the new position, all of that. And he fucked me. Totally. I don't really give a fuck about him liking nobody else. You can like whoever you want to like. But we had enough conversations for him to know I don't shed that. I don't shed men.
Okay, so like you didn't hit me off already. Like I feel like I need to change the clip. I feel like I need to change the first clip because I don't want you to beat up on this nigga.
I
But
ain't gonna be
yeah,
about.
but no, I want y'all to listen to this first clip. If y'all just tuned in, I need to see y'all say hello to me. Y'all not saying nothing to me. Y'all not. Come on, I know I see more people watching me than more people that are speaking to me. All you got to do is say hello. That's all I want to see is a hello. Here we go. This is our first clip of the night.
There's just as much fear of submitting to someone as being a leader. A part of us being in survival mode is that you can't show weakness. That's every animal. When every animal is in survival mode, you have to hide your weaknesses. It's about getting through the next moment. And what we've been through as black people in this country, we still very much in survival mode. It's harder for you to think long term. So now I gotta leave my survival, not my love, not my happiness, not my survival up to this individual, or I gotta lead another individual. And a lot of us haven't reached a place in our own relationship, like with self, to where we healed enough to realize, like, oh my God, like I'm capable of this. This person does trust me. It's not about survival anymore. We passed that. Like we actually building something here. So I think we definitely as black people specifically have to give ourselves grace. We have one of the most unhealthy relationships with leadership that you could point at.
Okay, talk to me. What did you
Okay, so
think about
first of
that
all,
clip?
that whole thing echoed.
Listen, I got you. I got you. Keep up with keep up with the.
It
We'll
was
deal with the
hard to
technical.
keep up with
We'll
it
deal with
because
the
it
technical
echoed.
stuff later. We'll deal with the technical stuff later. But talk to me what you thought about the clip.
I don't know because I couldn't understand half of it because it echoed the whole time, babes.
Okay, I'm around.
There's just as much fear of submitting to someone as being a leader. A part of us being in survival mode is that you can't show weakness. That's every animal. When every animal is in survival mode, you have to hide your weaknesses. It's about getting through the next moment. And what we've been through as black people in this country, we still very much in survival mode. It's harder for you to think long term. So now I gotta leave my survival, not my love, not my happiness, not my survival up to this individual, or I gotta lead another individual. And a lot of us haven't reached a place in our own relationship, like with self, to where we healed enough to realize, like, oh my God, like I'm capable of this. This person does trust me. It's not about survival anymore. We passed that. Like we actually building something here. So I think we definitely as black people specifically have to give ourselves grace. We have one of the most unhealthy relationships with leadership that you could point at.
Okay, talk to me. What did you feel about that?
I feel like that's no different than being a parent. I mean, it's a different type of relationship, but it's no different than when you're a parent. You have to be able to lead your children, provide, protect, all of that stuff. It's a heavy ass fucking burden. It's hard. It's scary. It's stressful. So why wouldn't it be stressful if especially if you're a grown man, having to take care of an entire family? Because the fact of the matter is, when it comes to marriages and relationships, anytime anything go wrong in a relationship, they automatically point it at the man. They don't think about what the woman may have done or not done. You know what I'm saying?
You know, for me, it's a difficult conversation, right? because in my aspect as a man, women, when they have children, the majority of the time, those are the ones with the children, right? In 9 out of 10 cases, the mother is with the kids. But in other situations, and on the male side, the male actually meets a lot of ladies that have children and they're not his own. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm.
that demographic is different. How do you view a man when he deals with you with children?
What you mean? How do I view him?
How do you view him? What do you expect from a man to deal with you knowing that you have children? Is that even something that you think about?
I've just always looked at it as he needs to be a good influence on my children. My
Okay.
children need to respect him. Like is not necessary, you know what I'm saying? But there has to be a respect for that man.
What is
Um,
the process of the man meeting your child?
oh,
'Cause I'm
baby.
pretty sure that every man that you meet has not met your child, right?
Yeah, they haven't met anybody. Oh my God.
So
It's,
what is the process of for you personally when you decide to say, "Hey, I'm about to let this guy meet my kids"?
there has to be a full out, like without question, we go together real hard. Like we are really together in a relationship and moving towards living together, engagement. You know, I'm not introducing them to anybody that I'm dating.
Okay,
It's just
so
not gonna
so a
happen.
man has to propose to you before they even go through the process
No,
of meeting your
I
child.
mean, if we engage, hopefully he would
Like
have
that's what I'm
always
saying. When is
met them.
when is that? When do you say it's okay to meet my kids? Is it
Whenever
before
I'm
the
comfortable.
engagement, or is it like depending on the person? And if it's depending on the person, what type of qualities does that man have to display
Okay,
for
so
you
let
to
me break
feel
something down for
comfortable
you.
enough?
Nobody's met my children in 7 years. Okay,
Okay,
so
and you've been in
to be able
and
to tell you what the whole process is, I don't know. There has to be a certain level of comfortability there for me, for one. I have to have a certain amount of feelings for two. It has to look like it's progressing into us living together or possibly going towards marriage. I may talk to him about my children. He may hear me talk about my children or hear my children in the background. He might even see them walk past on FaceTime, but actually meet them in person, no.
okay.
Um,
So
but
and
I
and listen,
want,
listen. This is not a dig at you, but this is like a because it's me and you talking, right? So you said it's been 7 years since your children have seen someone that you were with, right?
mm,
What was your longest relationship within that 7 years?
I haven't had one. I've been single.
So you've been okay.
I've dated people, but I haven't been in an actual relationship since 2017.
Okay. Now you brought up an interesting conversation. What is the difference in your mind between dating and being in a relationship?
If he ain't said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" or something along the lines, that's not my man. If it ain't went past about if it ain't made it past about a year for me, we probably ain't in a relationship.
Okay.
That's just me because niggas don't tend to make it longer than 3 4 months with me. I just don't have patience for certain stuff, and I ain't the easiest woman to deal with.
Okay. Okay. Mm. See, for me personally, and this is a personal Russell thing, Lion King thing, right? If I meet a woman and she has kids, it's very important for me to understand the relationship between, first of all, that mother and that child.
Right?
What is the relationship between them? Is this a mother child relationship or is this a mother friend relationship? Is this um is this a child where the mother tries to avoid the child. Because listen, I understand that once your child walks out of your house, they experience everything on their own, right? When you send your child to school, you can be the best parent in the world, but once they get in there with knuckleheads, they may pick up knucklehead shit, right?
Right.
So then the second question is, if a if I meet someone and they have children, and let's just say I hear an issue that is coming up with the child, like most mothers will talk about, he made me mad today. This is what he did, or this is what she did. My first thing is to listen. First of all, I'm listening to what the actual issue is, but now I have to listen to, well, what is this mother? What is the mother's opinion about how she's going to move forward with discipline? Is she frustrated already? Is she so frustrated that nothing makes sense to her? Like she's done with the situation. You know what I mean? Like we know how it is to be in a relationship and to be like, I can't deal with this no more, right? Well, guess what? There are certain parents that have that I can't do this anymore with my own kid, right? So as a male, when I meet a woman, I'm like, what is the relationship between you and your child? What what is your child's temperament? How does he react or deal with the pressures of life? How does he deal with you telling him what to do? If you tell him to take out the garbage, is he listening to you? What type of friends do I see your child with? As a man, that is a major thing for me. Just as a woman might have a major concern with a man to say, do you even have a relationship with your kids, right?
Right, but that's all stuff that you find out through having conversations with them. If I'm talking to you on a regular basis, my children live here. You know what I'm saying? If I'm talking to you on a regular basis, in the middle of us talking, it's gonna be times where you gonna hear me fussing at them. It's bedtime. Didn't I tell you to clean up your room? Why is this here? Why didn't you do this? You know what I'm saying? You and I have had conversations where I told you stuff about my boys. You don't have to
Yeah.
meet my children
But see,
to
no,
know how I talk to and treat
this
them.
is the difference, though. This is the difference. You've told me things about your child. I've heard you say, hey, listen, I'm getting ready to do the show. Keep it calm, keep it quiet, right? I've heard you discuss certain things about your child, but I've never heard your child wilding out in the background. I've
And
never
you
heard.
won't.
No, but listen what I'm saying. There are certain people, as a man, I'm speaking from a man's perspective, though. I can talk to a woman, say, hey, you're beautiful. Hey, what's going on with you? And then when I get on the phone, I'm hearing, sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, oh shit. If this is the scenario that I'm walking into, is this what I really want? Even though I might like the woman.
Okay.
So then that brings up the question of longevity. Because if I see you already and I see issues with you and your children, or I might see a lack of parenting issues with you, because that's the major problem with a lot of people right now, the lack of parenting issues. A lot of people are friends with their kids and not parents to their kids.
Yeah, but a lot of them are a much younger crowd. They're not really
It doesn't
people in
matter
my
though. It
age
doesn't
group.
listen. It doesn't matter. When we were kids, right? We had young people having kids out of wedlock. That has been happening since the beginning of
Right.
existence.
What I'm saying though is those aren't those parents that you're talking about, the ones that think it's cute for their daughters to be dressed like they 19 when they 12, and the ones who got their sons in the videos in the bathroom doing all this retarded shit. Those are young ass people that we
No,
wouldn't
no,
date
no,
anyway.
no, no, no. That's not
I
necessarily
ain't
true.
never really seen
Listen,
nobody in my age
listen,
group
that
doing
is
that.
not necessarily true. And I'm telling you, do you trust me when I tell you about
But
my
did you hear
page?
me say a lot of them? I didn't say
No,
all.
no,
The
no, no.
majority
Listen,
of them are
okay.
much younger.
Listen to what I'm telling you. And this has a lot to do. I learned this because Shantae broke this down to me on a show like 2 weeks ago about the algorithm that you get on Facebook, right? If you are a person that is only into religious shit is gonna pop up on your algorithm.
True.
With me having this show talking about everything that we talk about, I get all types that come to my page, right? I've had people that I've accepted their page in a friend request and just thought this was a regular plain Jane. And a week and a half later, through the stories, not even going to their page, just through the stories and clicking on stories, you know how they bounce to the next person and all that. Coming to my OnlyFans. I'm dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is a sexual thing. So when you talk about, I'm pretty sure, and I know this for a fact because we've ran clips on the other show where we've seen mothers twerking in a room with a kid in the background. And guess what? It
Right.
wasn't even just a clean. They weren't just twerking. They was twerking in a dirty ass room. So if you add all that together, you'd be like, "Yo, where is the mentality of this woman that I'm looking at? Not the woman that I'm talking to, but the woman that I'm looking at." And then when you see a lot of women acting like that, and then you have to make a choice about, yeah, I'm still a man. I still want a woman, but this is what you see. Just how women say, they find issues with men because they see it across the board. Men see issues with women across the board, but what is it that I say all the time? Men don't talk as much as women talk. We don't verbalize our thoughts the way women do. If you go to a woman's house and she really got a problem with you, she's going to say something. A man might have a problem with a woman and be trying to figure out, how can I get her up out of here to just be done with it? Because this is the craziest thing about men. When it comes to women, we avoid everything. But when it comes to another man, we ready to buck up and be the baddest nigga on the block. But in relationships, we are very timid across the board. We are very out of tune with real relationship feelings. We are out of tune with separating sex from the person, separating success from a situation. We are very fucked up in that situation. So that's why I'm like really explaining the difference between a man and how a man will look at something and a woman would look at something. Talk to me.
I said mostly younger people. I guess I don't see what you see. For one, I'm not a man, so I'm just not gonna have a bunch of
Listen,
bitches
listen.
sending me
I
friend
swear to
requests
God,
and shit. But
I'm not
I
trying to
was
be funny.
saying that
Listen,
what I see mostly, anytime I've seen those
mm,
videos, they were young ass mamas.
no, no, no. Listen. What I'm about to do right now is I'm about to go on Facebook and I'm about to look somebody up. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I know that they are in my feeds right
No,
now.
I'm not saying that they don't
No,
exist.
no,
I
no.
was
Listen
I
what I'm saying. No,
specifically
no,
said the
listen what I'm
majority
saying.
of those women are not our age.
No, no, listen to what I'm saying. I'm a 48-year-old male, right?
Hmm.
So the majority of people that come across my timeline are between the ages of 35 and 55.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because that goes back to the algorithm of what Facebook and social media will pick up about you. Like when you go to YouTube, if you watch enough YouTube, YouTube will begin to even show you clips of stuff that you will be interested in watching. It's even to the point where even with the advertisement that you see on YouTube or even on Facebook, it revolves around the algorithm that it picks up about what you're watching and the person that you are. The algorithms are showing such. Listen, it's a young lady. I'm about to look up her age right now because I'm not gonna say her name or none of that. Shorty is 53 years old, and every day, I'm not even lying to you. Shorty don't even take just sexy pics. Shorty will walk on the balcony of her apartment complex to take the pics. Now listen to that. So before I even see the picture, it's a dirty old man sitting in his kitchen saying, "Hey, what's that over there? What's Shorty doing over there? Why is she half naked, bent over?" He don't even recognize she taking pictures. She's just bent the fuck over because probably the phone is in an area where he doesn't even see the phone. He just sees a woman coming outside half naked, posing every day. Now, guess what? I don't even know if I should say this because I might reveal who this person is. But it's to the point where you have you have beautiful, attractive women, and you also have women that they shouldn't be making these posts at all. That's the best way I can put it. That's the best way I can put it. Now, from a female perspective, I don't know what y'all seeing when y'all look at men. I don't know what comes across your algorithm. I don't know what people say on y'all pages. But as a male, just being a male, and trust me, I'm the type of male that one thing I've recognized in this week is that I've made many of mistakes in life. And some of my mistakes were towards my relationships. Some of my relationship problems came from Facebook. Some of the problems came from this show. You understand what I'm saying? But I had to recognize in myself, yeah, well, these are certain things I need to change about myself. My question is, how many women are out here making bad decisions ever have a conversation with themselves and say, well, maybe I need to change this about myself. Yeah, I look good today. I look excellent today. I got a perfect body today, but I won't have this body in 15 years. And if my track record follows me, if I become the Facebook vixen, what is going to attract to me in a later time? Not saying that every woman that nobody can change, turn their life around and find the right person for them. I'm not saying that. But the majority of people will not. If you think about, how old are you, young lady?
Me? I'm 44.
Yeah. You're 44, and you said it's been 7 years?
7 years.
Okay. Me, myself, I'm 48. I can't afford to risk my time because somebody looks good anymore.
Agreed.
I can't afford to risk my time because somebody got a good job, but they won't treat me right.
Agreed.
I can't afford to waste my time on somebody that will make all of the love to me in the world, but they won't take care of the household.
Agreed.
They won't take care of their kids. And that's where we are in society right now. Like, I understand that we are a little bit older, so we sort of look at stuff a little bit differently. But when we look at the world as a whole, listen to what I'm saying. When you were in grammar school, could you go to school and say anything about your cakes or sing songs about, like, what's the girl, Sexy Red?
Oh, God, no.
You saw a couple weeks ago, I ran a clip where there was a young teacher. The teacher was probably only 25, and she was crying because there were students in the class. She's saying, I want to do lullabies, like kid songs. And they wanted to sing Sexy Red.
Oh, my
And they
God.
were in kindergarten. So if you're talking about kindergarten kids doing it, what are the 15-year-olds doing? What
I
are the
was just going to say, but their
25-year-olds
mamas
doing?
is 19, 20, 21 years old.
Listen, but what are the 25-year-olds doing? What are the 35-year-olds that are the parents of the 25-year-old? What are the 40-year-olds doing that are the parents of the because listen,
What are
we
they
at right
supposed
now,
to do?
where we at right now, the structure did not fall overnight. I think I think you can remember this. When you were a kid, right? You're 40, right?
44.
44. So you remember this. When Eazy-E and NWA came out, what was the public's reaction?
I don't remember. When they came out, I was living in Iowa with white people.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna tell you what the reaction was. You had people going on TV saying, do not buy this because it's going to destroy the future kids, because what they're listening to is destructive. We had the parents saying that about what their kids were listening to, because at that time, we look at Ice Cube right now and we talk about what's the movie he made in Chicago? Like the family, he's like the barbershop guy. We talk about the
Oh,
barbershop Ice Cube. We laugh at the Friday Ice Cube, but the Ice Cube that came out when he first came out was talking about fucking up
so
cops.
right.
He was on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you had Easy in there talking about fucking bitches, cruising down the street in my 6'4", clocking the bitches, watching the hoes. That was the first lyrics of the song. And we had people saying, whoa, whoa, this shit is gonna turn bad if this becomes public. If this becomes what our children listening to, it's going to go bad, right? That's what they said back then. Now, cut on whatever city that you're in right now watching this podcast. Cut on your local black radio station right now. What are you listening to? I'm a hoe. I'm a trick. Do dope. Sell dope. Do this. Back then we had the whole fucking no, don't do that. That ain't even hitting the airwaves. But now that's all you hear. So guess what? If that's all you listening to, because you programmed to that, you ain't listening to no love songs. You ain't listening to no bands. But you listening to that. And I'm not, listen, you grown, you got a right to listen to it. But if that's what you're listening to, I'm guaranteeing you, if that's all that you're listening to, your kids are hearing it when they little babies.
True.
That's how little kids can right now say, I'm a freak, I'm a hoe. They can recite everything before they're even able to
Write their name.
have a logical thought process. I ran a clip on Tuesday night, and it was of student. It had to be like students between the age of 18 and 21. Nobody on the video looked older than 21. And they asked them, what do you like about toxic relationships? You know what the answers were?
I can't imagine.
Listen, this was coming from the women. I like a man that can choke me. I like a man that'll cuss me out. I like a man that'll fight me. The men were saying shit like, I like the trashy shit. Nobody said, what the fuck do you mean? What do I like about toxic shit? I don't like anything about anything toxic. I don't even want nothing toxic. They giggled. One girl was with her girl and said, oh yeah, I like that too. So if you think about how did they get to have this mentality opposed to what our mentality was and what we were trained up with? And then when you talk about, well, when you were a child and when you were 19 years old, because somebody walk up to you that you did not know with a phone and say, hey, record this with me right quick. Yo, what's the nastiest thing you've ever done? And you say, shit, I like to blow dicks and I like to smoke and I like to turn up shit. I don't like no nigga that ain't got no money. And would that have been something that you would have publicly have said, even if you had, like, guess what? We all had some shit in us that was a little bit fucked up, but were we so open with it?
No.
Were we so open to the point where a stranger could walk up to us and they can get paid from us being toxic and talking about how much we love the toxicity? No. And guess what? I'm trying to tell y'all, what I see on my page, I'm not the only one seeing it. The difference between the type of woman that I will holler at right now and the woman that I'd have hollered at 20, she'd have came online and posted some sexy shit, and I wouldn't even give a fuck about nobody that said nothing on her post. I just been like, I'm here. Hey, what's going on? Right? At the age I am now, I'm going to watch what you post. I'm going to watch who responds, and I'm going to watch what your reaction is to the people that respond. Because if you are getting nothing but sexual, aggressive attention from men and you are responding to it, oh, you just a good time.
I feel you. I feel that way about men.
I can't deal with you on a serious relationship level because you're showing me from the introduction. And don't let me go back and read your timeline before the day I met you. So the level of respect that you're setting for yourself is being shot down from the second that a man would meet you. Why don't we see that?
To each his own.
To each his own. You ready for number two? Ready for the second clip? I think we started off on a good vein tonight. Listen,
Okay.
I'm telling y'all, I know I see a lot of people watching the show. Nobody has said hello to us. Nobody said hello to me. Nobody said hello to Nikki. I feel like that y'all just eating up all our good knowledge, and y'all
Hey,
ain't gonna do nothing.
Shantae.
Whether you agree or disagree, I need y'all to talk to me. Come on, read Shantae's comments while I'm pulling up the next clip.
There we go. Well, she don't even really say anything. Ayana said hey. Christina said hey. Chantel said, well, ain't he a piece of shit? Bless his heart. He be all right. Shantae said, I really like this dude. And then she did the thumbs up. The roles of both people in the relationship come with their own set of responsibilities and pressures. The key is to acknowledge that and respect each other's opinion. That also means that balance is absolutely necessary. And the older I get, the less patience I have. Girl, who you telling? She also said, if you're going to choose to date a single mother, understand that initially what is needed most is a sounding board or just someone to vent to. Yes, you can have your opinions, but at the beginning, it's important not to give that judgment. Sometimes what they need is an outlet. Now, I know it does depend on the person, but you may be able to help her think a little more clearly if you make a solid connection in the beginning. Just my thoughts. And she the only person that's
Don't worry
talking.
about that. Just read.
Meanwhile, these babies
Listen. We
are in
don't pay no
seventh
attention to no
grade.
negativity on this show. Not on this
Right.
show.
There go
Not on
your
this.
cigarette. She said, meanwhile, these babies are in the seventh grade, reading at a fourth grade level, but reciting lyrics, girl, and can play with a tablet and type in whatever they want to watch on their video games and all of that crap. Listen, I remember my mama taking my H-Town knocking the boot tape because it was too grown for me. Girl, my mama took my DJ Quick tape.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all talking about DJ Quick. All right, I'm closer to Shantae, right? When I first, you remember back in the day, we used to have these magazines, and they tell you in the magazine, you can get 8 cassettes. This is the same. I'm saying cassettes
Oh
for
my God.
1 penny. So my dumb ass didn't read the fine print, sent that shit off. I got Bobby Brown, Al B. Sure, I got Guy, um, Anita Baker, and 4 other tapes. But guess what? I couldn't play Bobby Brown around my mama once she learned what Bobby Brown was talking about.
Mm.
Once she found out that Bobby Brown was the freak of New Edition, and New Edition initially was the candy girl, you are my world.
And
Girl.
turned into I want to
You feel what
ride,
I'm saying? Once she found
baby.
out that Bobby was in the video going, it's my prerogative.
I
I
want
can
to
do what.
roll with
Listen,
you,
listen, listen,
lady.
listen. No, no. My mama told me this off the my prerogative lyrics. I was in the crib one day and I was pumping that shit because I hate to say this. Everybody know I'm an artist and stuff, and I do music. So I had a mirror. I had this big dresser, but it had a big mirror in front of it. I'm about to tell y'all some shit. Please don't hate me on this. When I was a shorty, my mama used to always get me some really good suits. So back in the day, I don't know if y'all remember the suits where it would come down and it would just like stop at the waist. I call them the Albie Shore, Christopher Williams suits. They big shoulders and they stop dead at the waist.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I loved music so much I would cut the music on and do a whole concert in front of the mirror and shit, right? Practice singing and all that shit, right? My mama heard it's my prerogative. I can do what I want to do. And she walked in the room and said, what What the fuck are you listening to? I said, this Bobby Brown, mama. She looked at me a little crazy the first time she heard it. The second time she heard it, the video was on. And he was in this little, she said, oh no, cut that off. I said, what, mama? This a video, it's just a song. My mama said, ain't no way in hell no son of mine is gonna be listening to it's my prerogative. I can do what I want to do in my house. You're not going to do what you want to do in my house. So I learned at that particular point, because then at that point I was starting to listen to rap. So I learned then, if I'm going to listen to this, mama ain't going to know it. My first Big Daddy Kane tape, mama ain't going to hear this, because I know if she hears somebody cussing, if she hear a cuss word come from my room, she's going to be like, is you cussing in there? Or what is you listening to is going to be the next conversation that I hear, and I got to explain it. I can't explain it because guess what? I know the rules that my mama set. That's the difference between this generation and that generation. Because guess what? If you online right now, and guess what? You can have a beautiful body. And if everything that you're posting online is a sexual thing, guess what? At some point, especially if you're one of them parents that post a sexy post, and then the next post is a post of you and your kid, and you talking about this my baby, guess what? That kid gonna grow up and he gonna be like, that's my mama page right there, and he gonna see, or she's gonna see their mother performing and acting in ways that they don't see necessarily in the crib, or that line up exactly with what they see in the crib. So what are you producing? What's going to happen after that? I'll just wait. I'll take my glasses off for a minute.
You're asking the wrong person, because I don't do that. I keep my clothes on in my pictures.
Yeah, but I'm talking to the ones that don't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Well, this is for the people. Wait a minute. I hear crickets. What the fuck are you going to do when you listen? Mm-hmm. This is the key thing, and if you can answer this question and you are 100% straight with the answer, go ahead, do your thing. I can't control your life. But if you have a child under the age of 18 and your child is acting like you, or starting to portray things that they've seen around you, are you a happy parent? I don't care if you in the BDSM lifestyle. I don't care if you are a freak. I don't care if you a hoe. But does your child see it? I don't care if you smoke crack. Does your child see it? Does your child see? Okay. Oh, I'm about to ask a good question. Has your child seen more than 5 men in the past 2 years?
Ooh-wee. Yeah, that's a problem.
Did you hear what I just asked?
I ain't got that problem. Nobody met my son.
More than 5 men in the past 2 years. If they have, and you cool with it, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next clip. I think it's time to come up off that one. I think that one got a little deep because I'll talk about that one for a minute. Here we go.
It's cool for you to want a woman that's submissive and softer. What's the other word you use? Docile. That's cool. But don't villainize me because I'm not the woman you want. Yeah. Because I'm not villainizing you because you're not the man that I want. You're not the type of the man that I would want to lead me. Don't villainize me for not being the type of woman that don't want to follow you.
Trip. I'm not going to disagree. I would actually double down and say that's the problem at large. Because it becomes hard for us to have this conversation because there is a whole group of women that villainize men for being broke, that villainize men for not leading properly, that villainize men for not showing up in the way that they feel, just like it's a group of men who villainize women for having a child out of wedlock, for too many, for not enough, for doing whatever they do, you feel me? When people attempt to have a sincere conversation, but the loudest voices are the ones doing the most damage, it becomes hard. And frankly, that is how this goes.
let's talk about it. What did you what did you feel about that clip?
Well, they say the loudest one in the room is usually the one that's only bumping their gums and the least important. But I mean, that's the truth. Everybody is villainizing somebody for something at some point for the most part. But as far as submission goes, I'm probably not the person to talk to about submission because I don't see it as an issue.
Well, I think what she was saying, she wasn't saying. I don't think she was villainizing submission and dominance. But I think
Right.
what she
She
was
was being
saying,
villainized because she's not the type, I guess, to submit or is
exactly,
not submitting to a specific type of guy,
exactly.
which is
So
fine. And people really need to stop being upset at people for not wanting them. If you don't want the person, why are you mad that they wouldn't want you anyway?
see,
It
this
doesn't
is
make
the thing.
sense.
Check this out. You can want somebody, but how can I say this? You can want somebody, but do you want everything that comes with the person?
Right, I get that part, but what we initially talking about though is her saying, "Don't villainize me because I'm not the type of woman that you want me to be, and I'm not even who you want." You know
No,
what I'm
that's what
saying?
I'm
You're
saying.
not
That's
who
what
I
I'm saying,
want.
though. That's
So
what I'm
my
saying.
thing is, if I don't want you, why am I going to be mad that you don't want me for whatever reason? It
I
makes no
get that.
sense.
I get that, but I believe what he was saying in the clip, again, like I was saying, when it comes to men, we've been hearing this for years. Men are dogs. Men ain't shit. Blah 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 blah. And we also have heard recently more than ever that women ain't shit. It's like a vice versa thing, right? I think what she was saying, if throughout all this, I ain't shit. That's a crazy line right there. I ain't shit. But throughout all of that, what do I like? Now, what am I attracted to? But what do I like?
Right?
Because I think a lot of us deal with what we're attracted to, and that has to deal with a lot of what we're attracted to has to deal with what we're used to.
I don't know. I would say that for me years ago. Now, initially, physical attraction is there, but it's hard for me to like somebody if they don't have things that I can like about them. So, and for me, once it starts at 100, and then you do certain things, and it's steady starting to go down. Once you get to a certain spot, the attraction goes from 100 to 60, then 100 to 10. And it's just like I don't like you. I can't. It's
But
hard to like somebody that you don't like.
I get that. But see, I'm thinking about one particular friend, and I've been speaking about it. I must be. It must be meaning that I must be meaning to call him because for the past 3 shows, there's been some type of topic that has made me think about him. Right? There are certain people though that their lifestyle has only equipped them to deal with a certain class of person. And what I mean by that is my my very first best friend in life. We went to college together. And I mean, we kicked it from the rooter to the tutor. There was nothing in college that anyone could have said to me to make me look at my guy like he was jacked up, right?
Mm.
About 5 to 7 years ago, he got into a situation. He got into a legal situation. And in the process of talking to his sister about getting him out of the legal situation, I had the opportunity to listen to her. That this is his blood sister. And she's telling me, like, he keeps doing the same thing in each relationship. And I had never thought about it before. Just like you got a friend, you know that they go through different relationships, but you never really take into accountability where they are in the process of them going through all these relationships, right?
Mm.
So I'm listening to her, and she brought up his drinking habit. She brought up the type of woman he was dealing with. And I thought back to when I first met him. We both could pull a decent woman. It was nothing for us to go out and pull a decent woman. We would ride together and go to the club and yo, gee, let's just sit here and see what we attract. Because that we was that cocky. You understand what I'm saying?
You still that cocky.
I am, because
I know.
I'm still trying to ride my shit out. I'm still trying to improve myself on a daily basis. So I got something to brag about. You understand what I'm saying? I talked to my guy. I said, man, because he called me from jail. He said, man, bro, I just need this to get out of jail. And I was really struggling with helping my friend and really helping my friend. So
sometimes the best help you can give is none at all.
Listen, what I'm about to tell you. So we were on the phone. He told me what he needed to get out. And to be honestly truthful with the situation, I had what he needed to get out. But after talking to him, he just never about how he got it. And then listening to his and reminiscing about what his sister had just told me. So now, while he's talking to me, I'm going through a flashback to all of the girls that I know he's dating. In every situation, there was liquor involved, and there was fighting in every situation. So I had to tell
Yeah,
my
your phone. I was gonna say your phone went out.
So I had to tell my guy, I said, man, I said, first of all, I got to tell you, I love you. You my brother. You my guy. You know I rock with you through anything. But I feel in this particular situation that you need to sit where you are. He said, man, what the fuck is you? That's his first words. What the fuck are you talking about? I said, bro, you need to sit where you are. I said, because everything about you in relationships has dropped since I've met you. You used to pull some women that were outstandingly beautiful. Now the women that you pull, when I meet them, I say, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm cordial to them. But I sort of think to myself, like, "Yo, G, why you fucking with her?" And then it came to my thought process that you're only fucking with what is accepting what you do. The only woman that's going to deal with a man that drinks heavy every day is a woman that either supports that or is drinking heavily herself every day.
Or just want a man and is desperate.
No. I'm talking about on this level. He was dealing with women that dealt with him on the level that he was at. He could listen, and I'm telling you, my guy came from good stock. His sister, good job. His mother, good praying woman. Like she used to have. I got into men's groups because of him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there was a certain point in time that because of him, I got around people that were better for me. And they were in his family. So, and yeah, just like every family, he had certain people in the family that jacked up and messed up here and there. But the overall aspect of his family was y'all doing good. One day we had a conversation in college and we said, yo, bro, me and you are not living a street life because we were raised in the streets. We're living this type of life because we choose to. We want to. We are attracted to street shit. And he sat there and told me, "You right." And he gave me a look. Listen, I already knew about his family, but he expounded on how good he had it to the point that I was jealous. I was sort of jealous. I was like, man, damn, I wish I lived over here I wish I was off the lake, look, and I could just go on the balcony and see the water. I was jealous. I was jealous at the fact that he had his mother and his father around him. But then at a certain point, because I should have known once we got out of college, he never wanted to leave college. And he wasn't going to school. It's a difference when you in a college town. And if you understand what a college town is, it's nothing there but the college.
Right.
That's all that the college is built off of. Most colleges, major colleges, are built where there is not a lot going on. So he lived there for at least 7 to 8 years after we were done with school. And I would tell him, like, yo, bro, why don't you move back to the city? His response to me, but I didn't catch it at that time, was, man, I ain't moving back to the city. It's too hot. It's too. He was so comfortable with that lackadaisical life, meeting people that were in a college town where it wasn't a lot going on, that his standards began to drop. He got comfortable with being uncomfortable. He got comfortable with being in an uncomfortable position. Does that make sense?
Yeah, get it?
We know a lot of people that get comfortable in uncomfortable positions. And I didn't recognize that in our 20s because I was still kicking it, trying to do my thing. I didn't recognize how messed up he was in our 20s. But when we got to our 30s, I started to see a little something. Because then I go kick it with him. He get into it with his girl, and I'd be like, man, come on, like, I don't want to be around this. But that was my guy. So what did I do? Come on, let's go. You got to get up out of here. The police gonna be here in a minute. But when I got 40, and I was like, yo, bro, you want me to get you out of jail because you're going through the same shit you were going through when you were 20? I can't do that. Because now I feel like I'm enabling you
Right.
to be an unsuccessful person. And there's nothing like loving somebody and having to have that conversation with yourself and say, this is enough. Not for me, but for you. You've got to come out of this situation because now you're only destroying yourself. It's a different conversation. Talk to me, babe.
I mean, you're right. I have some friends and some relatives that not necessarily old as me, but are still doing some of the same stuff they was doing 10, 15 years ago and then want people to bail them out. I don't understand that shit. And will get mad at you when you don't. But some people don't know how to function without dysfunction.
Yeah, see, and the scary part is this. As difficult as growing up is, it's necessary. It's extremely necessary. It's extremely necessary to be a better person. But if you don't see that need for wanting to be a better person, you will be damaged because you will continuously think that things are okay. Even with myself, I'm at a point with myself where things that have gone bad for me, I have to recognize, Russ, yeah, you had a hand in how things went. I'm really on a stage of my life where I'm not going to put blame on anybody else. Even though I may feel a particular way about someone else and how our relationship is or friendship is, I've got to take full responsibility about what I do, how I do it, and moving forward despite of any pain, guilt, or bad feelings that I might have for myself. because that's the first thing. That's the first move to being a better person is recognizing yourself.
Agree.
You got to sit there and say, "Yo, I
But
fucked
a
up."
lot of people ain't. A lot of people don't want to face themselves. It's a whole lot easier to put it on somebody else, but it's very hard to look at yourself in the mirror and realize how much you contributed to where you are now in life, whether you did it voluntarily or involuntarily.
Let's check out this next clip. Let's see what this man's talking about.
Women think that if I do it more for him,
Oh,
listen, like that, if I pick up his kids, if I give him as much sex as he wants, if I turn him out, if I show him I'm that ride or die chick, I'm that chick, right? And the more I do, they think that I'm going to get his affection. But that ain't how men operate. And y'all can tell me this. Watch this. A man doesn't commit to the woman for what she does for him. He commits to her based on who she is to him. Now watch this. If I look at that same woman and I look at a woman who nurtures me, empowers me, helps me to grow, supports me, all of a sudden the way I look at her brand becomes different. So I put her in a different category. Women think.
Okay, talk to me about what you just saw. What do you think about that?
What's that, Coach Ken Cannon? Yeah, he dope as hell. He's dope as hell. But he's right. You can't fuck no man into wanting to be with you. You can't cook for a man with him. No. I don't know exactly what it is to make a man want a woman, but it ain't doing more for him. If you already doing the most for a nigga and they don't want you doing more, ain't gonna make them want you either. So,
well, okay. It goes back to, is the man meeting you or is he meeting a representative of you?
I don't know where you got that from that video.
No, listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. Even when you meet a man, you have to deal with am I meeting the real him? Or am I meeting a facade of him? Right? You got to go through the process.
It's a facade when it comes to meeting
well, guess what? From a male perspective, it's gotten to that point with meeting a woman.
Well, I don't know. I'm 100%.
You're not supposed to know. I'm telling you from a male's perspective. You tell me from a female's perspective, and I tell you from a male's perspective. Trust me. When you talk, it don't sound good to men. You understand what I'm saying? When I talk, it probably won't sound too good to women. You understand what I'm saying? So there are a lot of people that you can meet, and you meet them off bat, and you be like, "Oh, they cool." Think about the last 7 years that you've had. Have you met some men and you've been like, "Oh, they good. That's what's up. I like him." But then the more investigation you do, you'd be like, nah, you ain't the one. You got too much of this going on. You got too much of that going on.
Yeah, but that's not a facade. That's what happens when you find out how people think and how they talk. That's not a facade.
No, the facade comes when they don't present that to you off bat.
Well, you have to, certain situations come up over time. So, okay, let me see who can I think of? Who can I think of? Facade. Somebody that I felt like, okay, I can use this person, this particular person. I only found out what I found out because I'm good at investigating people. Okay. And the only reason I went and investigated is because I felt like what he was telling me was a lie. But I don't like to accuse people of certain things. So if it's something that I know I can find out on my own, I'll do that first.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as who he was, consistency, phone calls, visits, and all of that shit was on point. But something felt off.
Okay.
And I found out what that off was.
Okay, let me do something. Go ahead, keep talking.
But over time, depending upon what it is, you don't know. Like, okay, I met a dude that I thought was cool peoples until he told me about his son being locked up and how he wasn't going to go visit him. And I didn't understand how, as a parent, you felt like it was okay to not go see your son and to put it off on the mama. And told him, if you don't give a shit about your kid, you ain't gonna give a shit about mine.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's not a facade. That's things you find out over time.
Well,
the facade is introducing me to an energy that you know you can't keep up.
Well, listen.
Facade is love bombing. A facade.
You just got through
That's the
giving me the
facade
same
thing.
conversation. You just got through giving me the conversation. Because guess what? If I meet you, right, and I don't expose those things about me, right?
But nobody's gonna tell you when you had your first conversation certain shit. So again, that's not a facade. That's like I'm not telling the first people that I talk to on the phone I like BDSM. That
No,
don't have
no, 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 no,
nothing
no,
to do
no,
with the
no, 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 no,
conversation.
no, 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 no. That's a difference. You listen to what I'm saying. It's a difference between letting somebody get to know you over time, right? Than a person that tells you it's this way, but it's actually a different way.
Right.
That's a facade.
Exactly.
Hold on, something just kicked in. I heard. Hold on. That's a facade. So, for what a woman sees a facade to be, again, it would be different from the way a man would see a facade.
Okay, Russ.
No, listen.
Even though facade for men and women mean the same thing, but okay.
No, but listen. The way that it comes across, the way that a man presents a facade is a little bit different than what some women would present a facade to be.
Okay.
This is not a fight against women. I'm just talking about the differences of how men listen. I'm not a woman, so I could never sit there and say this is what I could never say a woman is right in this perspective 100% because I'm not a woman. You understand what I'm saying? I am a male, so I'm speaking from a male's perspective. The facade could be I like you, it's only you, but guess what? This motherfucker is.
So we saying the same thing.
I'm agreeing with you, babe. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm
So
not
then why
disagreeing.
you just say I agree? Why you got to make it seem like you disagree and just tell me you agree?
I just said I agreed. I agree means I agree.
Yeah, but you said that 3 minutes after you started explaining where it sounded like you was disagreeing.
Next clip. Check the comments, baby, please. Okay.
Okay.
It is so easy to say you want to heal, to say you want to make changes to your diet, to go to therapy, to start moving your body more and worrying less, but it's hard to actually do it. The doing it part has been my greatest enemy, and it took so many conversations and therapy sessions to realize it's not because I'm lazy, it's not because I lack drive and direction, it's not even because I'm incapable of doing it, it's simply because I don't believe I can. When I really thought about it, I realized that I wasn't holding myself accountable. I wasn't actually sitting with myself long enough to be honest about where my low self-esteem and self-confidence has come from. And this isn't a moment to pick myself apart and point out all of my character flaws. More than I want to identify every discrepancy in my behavior, I want to heal. I've spent enough time in my head trying to figure out the fastest route to happiness, whether it be a new job, an apartment, or even new friends. Unfortunately, those things are only tending to the surface, while underneath I'm still struggling. Life lately has been an effort to be simply honest with myself, because as complex as it may feel, it's really not. And if 90% of the work is to be done in my head, then why not maximize that 10% left and live free? I've been doing a lot of reflection lately. A lot has changed about myself over the years. Some things have kind of stayed the same, but I recognize that as I'm growing and learning, I have become more compassionate with myself. I now seek compassion a lot more than I did before. Last year was a pretty tough year for me. I lost friends. I was in a relationship that had become unhealthy, and I was also struggling to really find myself as far as my job and my career went. I was really struggling with a lot of different things, and then at the top of the year I didn't have a job, and I was trying to make an income just based off of what I had at the time. There was a lot of learning, but I think that one thing I can take from it all was the need and the desire to be more compassionate and choose self-empathy. I say all this to say I'm now on a journey to intentionally approach my relationship with myself. It's not exactly an easy journey. You know, it takes time to really build and rebuild that connection and that trust with yourself. So by rebuilding my relationship with myself, I mean building my confidence back up, building my trust in myself and my own intuition, and also accepting who I am, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I definitely think that this is a lifelong journey. I think it's very purposeful that I start this journey early as I'm in my early 20s, because these are the moments where you're really finding yourself. You're figuring out what you like and what you don't like, and these things are going to carry with you into your later years. I recently watched Tariq Ali's video about a few of the struggles that he's had in the past few months and how he's been catering to and listening to his inner child. And I really love that video because it's just like, it's exactly where I feel so many people need to be. When you're actually taking inventory of your feelings and taking a moment to figure out what triggers you and how you can either avoid those triggers or eliminate them. I personally feel like in the past I wasn't as nimble with those things and I wasn't as cautious with my own triggers. And when I did get triggered or I made a mistake or whatever, I would beat myself up so badly. And I said in one of my last videos that I'm letting go of that, like letting go of this expectation that I can't mess up, and also practicing repairing that relationship with myself after those things happen. Because essentially what happens is your inner child is kind of reaching out to you and telling you, I don't feel good, I don't feel safe in this moment, and I need assistance here. And a pattern that I have is kind of seeing and hearing that and dismissing it or trying to push myself into a solution when sometimes nurturing is all you need to do. I definitely feel that the things that we practice with ourselves are the things that we will practice in our other relationships.
Okay, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's a healing journey, and everybody at some point in their life has to go through one, and it's not always easy. Hold on a second, it's my daughter.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next clip.
I'm sorry. She.
If you forgive a person, but you hang on to the anger, the pain, and the hurt, and you say you forgave the person, then you don't understand what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. What you don't understand about not experiencing true forgiveness, not letting it go, was explained to me this way. When you don't forgive a person, it's like you drinking the poison, waiting on them to die.
Okay, so my bad. My baby just got her medicine for her MS. But anyway, so back to what I was saying for the first clip, though. It's a healing journey, and you have to be able to look at it in whatever way that it works for you. As far as triggers go, everybody has their triggers. Your triggers are your responsibility, but you need to be careful of who you are around, because people will purposely do stuff to trigger you, knowing that it triggers you. But and you do have to nurture yourself, and you do have to love yourself. But I don't give a shit what nobody says. Self-love is great, don't get me wrong. But self-soothing and self-nurturing only goes so far. We were not meant to be by ourselves, to have to be soothing ourselves every day, all the time. And even in your healing, you need to have people around you that can help you heal. It shouldn't be something that you're doing by yourself.
It's obvious when you're in a healthy, functioning relationship to need your husband.
Yeah.
It is obvious that you'll need your husband. It is obvious that you'll need your partner. When you are not, there is 90% of niggas in terrible relationships.
Damn, here you go,
when we
statistician over here.
sit up here, it depends on who you're talking to. I'm talking to the woman that literally feels like she cannot move because this man told her she can't move, and that man don't even know how to move himself.
Tony Braxton said Bree was out here.
So he's more of a controlling, and she's honestly more of a victim than she is a
right. But then
person.
let's just put more context by what we mean.
So
you are in a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage. You need your partner. You are dependent on your partner. But listen,
and we're dependent on each other.
But we're dependent on each other. Yeah. But when you sit up here and we just have this narrative of like, no, as a woman, I need my man. Period. Then you have to understand that the women in toxic relationships are listening to that too. Like, period, sis. Period, sis.
Man,
no,
that's
babe.
a good point.
All right, what do you think about that?
It's obvious.
About which clip? Steve Harvey's or hers?
Hers.
I can't give. I don't know if I can give an opinion. I've been single and I've never lived with a man, so I don't know what it's like to be dependent on anybody. So I don't. I don't know. You need a man for certain things.
So in a world of you meeting the person that you consider to be the perfect person for you, would you see yourself having a dependency on him at all?
Probably for intangible things, yeah. Companionship, attention, affection, those type of things, but beyond that stuff, no.
But wouldn't that be a major reason why that person would be that person?
What, for the intangibles?
Yeah. Like,
nah, for what? I got my own crib, I got my own car, I got my own money.
Let me ask my question first. Love is an intangible thing. You can't go buy love.
Oh, it's intangible, my bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, you're gonna want to be dependent. You're gonna want to know that if you're stressed out, your person is there. If you need attention,
tangible is something that you can touch and feel.
Right. But I misheard you. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna want the intangible stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those are if I'm with somebody, I depend on that person to be the person to give me my intangibles.
I think me personally, I think anybody that you would deal with in a long-term, serious relationship where you understand that this person is them and you are you, there are going to be both tangible and intangible things that you have to come across.
I don't know.
I don't believe that there's no woman that I will ever meet and that I will be happy with that woman 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No.
So there has to be some tangible and intangible things that keep me connected to you.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay, let's think about it. What is tangible? Things that we can touch, right?
Correct.
Intangible are things that we cannot touch, right?
Correct.
Okay. In a real serious long-term relationship, do you think that couples that have made it, I ain't talking about couples that have not made it. Listen to this.
Made it where? You talking about financially? I'm about to ask you. Couples that have made it, like couples that have been together a long time and they've surpassed the bullshit of what we consider to be a relationship, right? They truly love each other, right? You follow me so far? Yes.
Okay. In that time period, there had to be times where there were tangible things that kept that relationship together and there were intangible things that kept that relationship together. If they were both people that did not, and this is so very rare in this day and time, but let's just say we got two people that never cheated on the other, right? I'm pretty sure that there were times in that relationship where one person felt one way about having that sex and the other person didn't. Because that happens in regular relationships. Sometimes the man wants to have sex and the woman don't feel like it at all. But she has sex with that man to please that man. There are certain times that men don't feel like being touched at all, but they know they got to have a little intimate time with that woman to keep the relationship going. So there are both tangible things that I can say, yo, I can damn near touch these things about this person. And then there are intangible things that we can't touch at all, but somewhat hold that relationship together. How do you feel about that?
Like I said before, as far as to me, the intangibles are important. When I think of tangibles, I think of rent, light bill, gas bills, car notes, bills, groceries, clothes, shoes,
Those
all of
those
that.
would be tangible things. Those are tangible things.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm tired, but you know
No,
what the hell
I'm
I'm
just
trying to
no,
say.
I'm just making a correction for everybody that's watching. Those are tangible things.
Okay.
Things that
So
things
the
that you
things that I
things
can
that you can
actually
touch.
touch, that I have to spend money on, that I
Okay.
need to survive and to live for, no, I don't depend on the man for any of that, and I never have in a relationship.
Okay,
Ever.
so do you depend on that man to make you feel a particular way to make you feel a way about him?
He needs to make me feel like I am loved, appreciated, valued, respected, and protected.
So do those come from tangible things or
Those
intangible?
come from intangible things. That comes from the amount of time we spend together. That comes from attention. That comes from talking. Things like that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't
You
need
know, now you leaning more towards my way, but I'm just breaking it down for you.
no, what you're doing, Russ, is you tripping up my words, is what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Because I started out and I said from the very beginning, I want the intangibles, which are the things that you do not touch.
Okay.
I started out saying that.
I agree with that. And then I
So
mentioned
why do you keep twisting my
I'm
words?
not mentioning that I'm not twisting your words, but I'm talking about the differences between
But
tangible.
I know the difference.
I'm not arguing with you about okay. I'm not arguing with you. I feel like you want to argue with me tonight, and I'm not.
No, I
I haven't
don't
been
want
trying to
to
argue
argue
with
with
you tonight.
you.
I'm just trying to have a conversation
Okay.
about the
So my
differences.
whole thing is if I started out saying that the intangibles matter, which are the things that you cannot touch, that I've
Mhm.
never lived with the man, that I pay my own stuff and always have, then why would you feel the need to ask me more questions when I've
Because I asked
specifically
you,
said
I
it's
asked
the
you, did the tangible
intangibles
things
that
matter?
I feel like I would be
But I
dependent
asked
on?
you, did the tangible things matter?
And they do
Intangible.
matter,
Wait a
but
minute.
they're not something that I
Whoa,
would be
whoa, listen to what I'm
dependent
saying.
on for a man, which is
Listen,
what I
listen
told
to
you.
listen to what I'm saying. Intangible things and tangible things are two different things. You
No, you
said,
didn't.
wait a minute. You said intangible, that's what you're looking for. And I asked you specifically, well, what about the tangible things? What about the things that you can touch? What about the things that you can? That's what I asked you.
And I said I'm not dependent on those things.
Okay, but I listen, I'm not disagreeing about what you need. But I am saying that there is a difference when people think about tangible things that they need and intangible things that they need. There are certain people out here that need physical touch. There are
Certain
certain
people, but we're
people
not
that
talking
need,
about certain people. We're talking about me. You were asking about me, not certain people.
I get that, but the whole show is about everybody.
Okay. All right, Russ.
The entire show is listen, people tune in to hear us talk about our views, but we cannot leave out the fact that we're talking to people that have
So then
differences
maybe
of
you should
opinion.
have worded it different. You should have said then, so what about other people instead of saying you like you talking directly to me.
Okay. But I've said millions of times tonight, this is me speaking my opinion. I said I'm speaking from my perspective. I've said that at least 6 times
But
tonight.
right now we're not talking about your perspective. We're talking about what you asked me specifically.
Oh, okay. All right, sweetheart. All right. We're gonna move on to the next clip. I played this clip already.
I, for one, want to stay married. So I listen to people who have stayed married and who I know have gone through trials and tribulations. We can't listen to single people about married people issues. Like, that's just not, it's just not going to work.
I'm just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all out to a musical extravaganza called the Night and Day Project. Please save your applause to the end. Because I love living. You don't hear me though.
So I wanted to touch on Cody and Tommy in regards to coming up with the entire series. Everyone always wonder, it's like, okay, like how do you balance everything? Like you guys do so much. Do you mind sharing with everyone, how do you maintain the family balance with the work balance with everything that you're building?
With everything that we're doing and trying to find balance and really just trying to have a strong, healthy relationship while juggling our professional endeavors, our kid. The short answer is that I have no idea. I don't know. There is no balance. But a big part of trying to get there is finding examples like them. Finding examples like we try to share in the show. You know, we find somebody that we're like, oh, they're interesting, they're cool. And we interview them. And we try to learn from them. And then we try to share it with other people. But I mean, like I said, I hated her a little bit for having a tight butt after the baby. But I was like, you know, maybe I can feed off of this, right? So to me, any balance, any strength that I have right now in everything that we're doing is in part from the lessons that we're learning and observing from other strong couples. But to that end, I feel like if something's important to you, to find examples and learn from them. Whether that's reading about them, whether that's finding them and talking to them, but whatever it is, professional, personal, if there's something that's important in your life and you want to be better, do better, find those people that are doing it well and try to learn from them. And that was our whole point with this show.
Because at some point...
You guys are so supportive.
Because at some point, the excuse of, you know, I grew up with this or I didn't have this or whatever it may have been, it doesn't hold water anymore. And so it's like, it's your responsibility. And so it's like, if you know you have this deficiency, if you know you need to learn something, if you know that you're bad at something as an adult who wants to make something happen, well, figure out what you need to do. Figure out how to fill that void. Figure out how to learn about marriage. Figure out how to do whatever else you want to do. And stop making excuses. It's not your mom's fault that you're not in a happy relationship. Or your dad, or anything.
And surround yourself with people that will pull you up as well. We had an interesting question last week that I guess I'll pose to you guys. But someone asked us something to the effect of like, who do you confide in about your relationship, right? Like often we're told like, don't talk to anybody about your relationship. But are there people that you do confide in? Is that a healthy thing to do, or is that the wrong thing to do? What's your philosophy on it?
Well, I was blessed to have a lot of married couples that are, you know, in our family. My parents have been married for over 30 years. My uncle and my aunts, my grandparents. So normally when I confide in people who have found a way to make it work. You know, typically people tend to confide in people who just want to agree with their point of view. So then you end up getting you end up getting the yes people, or nah, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't put up with that. And it's like, you can't listen to single people about married people issues. Like, that's just not, you know, it's just not gonna work. So I, for one, want to stay married. So I listen to people who have stayed married and who I know have gone through trials and tribulations, because everybody goes through trials and tribulations. People always want to make it seem as if like, oh, if your marriage is not perfect, or if it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look on TV, then you're just in a bad marriage. And that's just not the case. And I mean, and just to address the elephant in the room, which is always cheating. People always want to talk about cheating and stuff like that. Every married relationship that I know, or that I know have gone over 30, 40, 50 years, someone has cheated. Whether it's a man or a woman, there's no only men cheat or only women cheat. It just depends on how you deal with what happens or what's the reason for it. And the reason why I bring that up is because I was guilty of stepping out, and it was before I was married, and I was going through my worst, and it was a lot of times where I felt like, damn, do I even want to be married? Like, do I want to be married? And then I'm thinking to myself, is my marriage just going to be based on just sex? Like, if marriage to me is, I can't have sex with nobody else, so I'm going to be married to this person, then I don't need to be married. And then when I was going through my worst, it was what we just talked about, I realized how much more I valued being with someone else. And it makes you realize how little sex is in a marriage. Like, people always want to put sex on the forefront of a marriage, but I'm telling you right now, people, until you've gone through the worst of the worst and you have somebody with you, you really start to realize how unimportant sex is. And I will be the first person to tell you, man, everything that I've gone through in my life, if I didn't have a soulmate right here next to me, I wouldn't have made it. And there's
I love what he just said. Like, for a minute, he had lost me for a minute when he started talking about certain things, but when he brought it back home and he talked about how you can make a mistake and find yourself in your mistake. You know, a lot of us move and we make mistakes. And let me give a shout out. Shout out to Miss Walker. Shout out to Miss Harris. I just got y'all text messages. I salute y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. But a lot of us don't recognize where we are until we hit rock bottom. A lot of us face situations through a one view camera as opposed to picking up the full aspect of everything around us. Yes, in certain situations, people do certain things and you need to get the fuck away from them. But in other situations, you just might be the catalyst to that person being a better person, because you might open up a level of experience that they've never experienced before. Some people are so broken that all they know is brokenness. They don't know how to walk or navigate through. They don't know how to function in a regular life. And if a person doesn't know, how do they know? How do they learn? How do they get it together? Sometimes it takes somebody picking them up from the mud and saying, look, you fucked up, but I see something in you. Let me wipe this mud off of you. Now, I'm not saying this in every situation, but there are certain people that were not good for anyone until they really met someone that loved them. And then they begin to change. Man, they say that love covers a multitude. And I keep telling you, love ain't always the good sexual, you look good, you make me feel good thing. Love is long suffering. Love is some other. I've never read the Bible and read love to be anything that sounded good. Never. Never. The closest thing is the one verse that everybody knows. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. But if you think about that, what did you give him to? You gave his only begotten son to die for everybody else. And he asked you not to kill him on the cross. So you understand what I'm saying? Love does not have the you make me feel so great. Oh, she's so sexy. Oh, no. Love is, I see you through all of your mistakes, through all your rights and all your wrongs. That's what I love. And I always compare it to being a parent. Any parent has always fallen out with their child at some point if they really love their child. When you see your child doing the wrong thing and they're going the wrong route, you tighten up on them. It's ready to go to war. If you don't love something, you'll just let it go. There's no need to talk about anything. There's no need to have uncomfortable positions of conversations if you do not love. Because if you don't love, listen, love will make you have the conversations that you don't want to have. Love will make you do things that you don't want to do. Love will make you forgive somebody that you do not want to forgive. If you don't love them, they fuck over you. You're like, fuck them. To hell with them. I don't give a fuck about this person. But a person that you care about, a person that has a connection in your heart, your soul, they fuck up and it bothers you. Even if it's not your own family, you got friends and stuff that you see doing the wrong things. And you'd be like, you messing up. How do I have this conversation with them? That's how you know you love somebody, when you're asking yourself, how do I have this conversation with them? How do I have this conversation with them? It's an uncomfortable conversation, but I got to have it. How do I have this conversation with you? Because I love you. If I did not love you, it's over with. There's nothing else to talk about. Think about it in your regular relationships. Once a nigga got on your nerves and you said fuck him, you just said fuck it, I'm gone. People that you love stick around, and those are the people that work your nerves the most. No one around you that you consider that you love, I mean, seriously love. I ain't talking about no nigga that you just met and you say you love him next week. But a person that you got feelings for and there's a connection with, they drive you crazy when you really look at them and you accept them for who they are. Not saying that they are who you want them to be, but once you accept them for who they are, it changes the perspective of how you deal with that person. People in my regular life that pissed me off, that I do not love, I have any attachment to, can piss me off, and I'm immediately like, fuck this nigga. Everybody that know me know that shit. Even on the show, they be like, man, you got a way about you. Well, that's me. Do you love me enough to accept me? Or do I got to fight to be me to deal with you? That's a different conversation when you dealing with somebody and you say, well, listen, I know you're a little fucked up. I know you, listen. That's like, and I know everybody can deal with this one because everybody's either been on one side of the track or the other. Everybody has dealt with somebody that was not making the money or supporting their half of the relationship sometime, especially in your younger days. Because in my younger days, there's no way I could have had a fucking podcast because I blew off all my money. So any woman that fucked with me, they wasn't getting me for the person that I was. They was getting me for the person that they accepted and that they liked. So guess what? Once they liked me enough to deal with me, then I looked at the conversation of love because some of them put up with some shit that they shouldn't have put up with. And on the vice versa side of me, I put up with some shit for motherfuckers that I didn't necessarily like or I wasn't being respected in the way, but I loved that motherfucker and I was in that shit. I had my mother telling me, get out of that relationship. I had people that knew me saying, that ain't no good for you. But guess what? I was so in love that I dealt with it. Love didn't have nothing to do with the good feeling. Because if it was about the good feelings, I wouldn't have been in the situation that I was in when I was so in love and I couldn't figure the shit out. Now, guess what? Once I got a little older, I got myself together, my perception of love and who I love changed. I love people that are go-getters now. I love people that have a mind of their own. I love people that can challenge me. People that can challenge me, I challenge them to challenge me all the time. That's what I do. If I don't fuck with you, I don't say nothing to you. People see my Facebook all the time and think that I fuck with everybody on Facebook. I don't fuck with everybody on Facebook. I really don't. Even though my numbers are a good number, if you look at I looked at this today and somebody asked me, what are the numbers for the Defiant Media Group? And I went and looked at it. I said, damn, we got 4,000 motherfuckers in this motherfucking group. Oh, not on the group, but on the page. I said, that's sort of different because I know it's easy to build up a group, but a page is a little bit different. I never paid attention to how many people actually watch us, regardless of whether we're live or not. Because a lot of people hit me up after the show is already recorded and talk to me about the show. They talk to me about the topics on the show. People talk to me about all types of things about the show. Even while we're doing shows, I get inboxes from people or text messages. But at the end of the day, those people, I have to even look at those and say, who loves me and who's talking to me out of knowing me, and who's talking to me about wanting my show to be a better show. The love of a person will say, listen, I saw this, but I saw this too. I saw the goodness in this. I had this conversation with somebody just today. They talked to me about the differences on my Tuesday night shows with the different people on the show. They said the atmosphere is different. I said, well, trust me. I know that when I start a show, I know who's on the show. I get a vibe for what that show is going to be. No disrespect to nobody else, but I get a different vibe when, if it's just me and Shantae, I know what that vibe is going to be. If it's just me and Ida, I know what that vibe is going to be. When there have been other people on the show and it was just me and them, I knew what that vibe was going to be. But when it was all of us, it was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. But I have to navigate through when everybody ain't there, because Shantae don't miss shows because she just missed shows. Shantae misses shows because she got to work. And when she come on the show, Ida, Shantae, that's the difference between Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, because Tuesday nights are set up for me to have a knockout brawl with everybody on the show. Thursday nights is the show to discuss like individual love and where we are with it, and to look at the different perspectives and say, oh, I didn't look at it that way. Or I hear him or I hear her. That's what the perspective of Thursday nights is supposed to be. And we're going to get there. But the love nature of it, the relationship ready part of it is, where am I in this as I walk through it? I'm telling y'all because I know I'm getting messages. We good over here. We are good over here. It's just the difference in the blending of the differences that's what's going to make this show successful. That's what's going to make it successful. Because once we start to look at things differently from the way that we see it, then we'll understand a little bit better about who we deal with, why we deal with them. Are they good for us? Some people that get mad at you, are they mad at you for the right reasons? Are they what? You got to decipher all of that. I'm to that point in my life where I want to know everything that I can know about every person that is in my circle. Not saying that I'm going to have a hunky-dory relationship with everybody in my circle, but if you're in my circle, you're in my circle because guess what? I love you. Regardless of whether it's how can I say this? Because I don't want to get these wacky motherfuckers out here listening to the show fucked up. I don't care if it's a male or a female. If I fuck with you at this point, especially going into 2024, anything that I'm doing, I gotta love you and fuck with you to go forward. I cannot. I can't move in any other direction. That's in my personal life. That's in my love life. That's in my business life. Even when I go to work, I only deal with the people at work that I know there's a certain camaraderie there, regardless of whether we get along or not. Because I've taken on a new job, I've had to assess everybody that I ran into it with because I was the new person, right? Follow this. I came into the job and I didn't know nobody. The first day in, it's that natural, what's the roles of the job? What do I do? How do I do this, right? But once I got that down, and I said, oh, I got what my station is. I started to pay attention to the people around me. And what blew me was everybody that I worked with talked about everybody else that they worked with. like this guy talked about that chick, da 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 da. Then I went over here. This chick talked about everybody else, and they gave me the full rundown. Now, what they did was they gave me the option to observe everybody that was there. Outside of observing them, I had to make my decision about who am I rocking with? Who can I share love with? Who can I be cool with? Who do I need to cut off and make sure that I never let them know anything about my personal life at all? But once I recognized that, it became something good to me. Talk to me right quick, Shantae. Excuse me, I call you Shantae, Nick, and then we're about to get off the air.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Well,
you and I talk though.
We always gonna talk. It is what it is. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please tune in on Tuesday night. That's another edition of the Black Table. Y'all know we're gonna talk super, super crazy on that. I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the inboxes. I appreciate everything. But we're gonna keep it moving. That's what it is. Relationship ready. Are you ready or not? Let's get it.